back again. Hopefully I don't hear so much feedback this time. Let's just log in again. Still getting a ton of feedback. Why, oh, why, oh, why? Hi. Oh, good. No. Hi. Oh, good. No. See if it stops. Hi. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Every time I speak, but see if it carries on next. Yeah, I don't know what it is. Every time I speak, but see if it carries on next. Yeah. No, right. Okay. Let's try turning the. Is that better? Yeah, I just worked that out what it was. So how is everybody at the moment? We all bored? No, I'm bored. I've done very little today. Cleaned some windows. I did think about washing the car, but that was about all I managed. Good, good, good. Nice. So I've got to do the Fiat Coupe wheels, but I couldn't be bothered to go into work today. Can you see the text on the right hand side of the screen going up? Because somebody was saying last time they couldn't see it. You know, like the chat box on the right hand side. Oh, hang on. There we go. Can you see that now? Oscar, from the stream I did for about 2 minutes. No, I didn't. If you did, thank you very much. I'll have to have a look at that in a minute. Yeah, mobile, I'm not sure whether you can see them or not, but I don't see why you shouldn't be able to. So I'm looking at the settings here. I've got live chat or top chat. So we'll go live chat this time so I can see everybody's comments. Have we changed the fuel rail on the JTS? Surprisingly enough, no I haven't, but I have taken a few off cars I've broken. They're not the easiest things to get to. Yeah, Alpha 75. They're a nice car to restore. I bought one to restore, but it sat in my unit for 12 months and I decided to sell it as it was because I was never ever going to get around to it. I did look at getting a webcam for this one and I can't buy one anywhere. Looked on all the usual sites and they're all out of stock. Amazon, eBay, everywhere. So I think I'll have to wait for all this to blow over before I can get my hands on one. Greetings in Ukraine. The 75 I had, it was in the boot where it needed rusting, from what I remember. That was about the only area that I could really find with rust, but I bought it, parked it in its spot and never really touched it, so I couldn't really say how bad it was. But I think somebody's restored it because I got not a speeding ticket, a parking fine for it about 18 months after I sold it. So I did forward it on to the new owner. So what's everybody been doing today? I think everybody must be in the garden sunning themselves. Yeah, Stu, looking forward to get working on that one. My 156 GTA. It's just going to be finding the time to get round to it. It's going to be a couple of weeks till I can do that. I've got finish off this GTV restoration, and then I've got to do a 166, which has got an engine misfire, and then I should be ready to crack on with the GTA. Barricaded in with this. Oh my god, it must be bad where you are then. J Grimstar. No, I did a nice project in work yesterday afternoon. I had nothing else to do, so I decided to build myself a fire pit made out of some Space Saver alloy wheels. I did film it, so I'll probably put that video out on Tuesday for you guys to watch. Vincent Oakes, Mito power steering playing up. It's going to be the electric motor itself, or the ECU for it underneath the steering wheel. You're looking around 350 quid roughly to get that fitted and sorted with a refurbished unit fitted. Unplugging the temp sensor and the problem got much worse. Okay. Could be too much fuel then, yeah. No worries, you're welcome. Why did you choose Italian motorsport? I don't really do much motorsport. .156 rust isn't that bad. It's only the floor pans that really rust on those. If you catch them early, it's only the drain holes you need to weld up. But yeah, the sills do rust as well. See, my new mugs have come. I am going to be offering one of these for free for a competition question answer. But I'll wait for some more people to come along first. Give you half an hour and we've got some stuff to give away. Yeah, you've got a few diagnostic issues there then, Fluke 9. Goodyear trailing arms, I have got one passenger side one left. Hang on, Vincent, let me go back to it again now. Yeah, you can get it to me. I can get it as long as I can get the part refurbished. The company's still open. That's the problem I'm finding at the minute. It's getting parts. A lot of the parts shops are still open, but you can't get anything from the manufacturer or the parts manufacturers, so we are struggling a little bit. Yeah, I've got the 3.2 locks to go on there, the genuine aluminium ones. Power steering pump probably if it's a 2.4. If you're getting a whine on your power steering. Hi Fat Boy, all things are well with me, I hope they're good with you. Yeah, give me a call Monday. I know I can order one in. There's plenty for sale on eBay. There's also a few companies that refurbish the power steering motors on the Mitos, so I can get it taken off and sent over to be done. But I'm probably better off if you need the vehicle is to reset it, see if you can get it working right again, get the part number off it, order one in, and then we can just swap it while you wait, so you haven't got to be without the car for too long. K-Reel, twin sparks are prone to consume oil. Yes, they are. Some engines are, some aren't. My 145 does consume a bit of oil, but nothing major. I would still stick with 1040 oil in the twin sparks because they are very susceptible to bottom ends going. Yeah, I try not to buy the cheap copy ones. The only cheap ones I've got are some 3 litre ones, but they actually time up spot on. What's my opinion on air intakes? My opinion on air intakes is don't bother. Just get a high quality air filter. Other than noise, I don't think you get that much difference. Yes, we were promised sun today, but we never got much sun, so it would have been nice to go out and work on cars today. It's cloudy, I can see a little bit of blue sky, but that's about it. Steady speed gearboxes, I'm not a huge fan because of the reliability issues. I ordered this off Redbubble. Probably done about 20-25 quid each. But it's a good quality t-shirt. Where do I get these cheap alphas from? It's because I'm in the trade. A lot of people call me and say they need to get rid of cars, so I do tend to get the bargains. I really didn't want to buy the GTA, but it was a bargain I couldn't really refuse. I was trying to save my money just in case I had to shut up shop for a few months, but I'm hoping I haven't got to do that. Yeah, you can convert them to a manual box, but by the time you've bought everything to manually convert them, I'll just keep it standard because that's the way it comes from the factory, so that's where any new owner would probably want to keep it. The GTA owners are very particular. They like their cars standard with only a few subtle suspension modifications. Any tips on removing a headliner from a GT? Yeah, just take everything out slowly. There's a lot of hidden clips and difficult clips to remove, but you've got plenty of room to work in there. You don't have to remove the interior or anything, just all the A, B and C pillar trims. Messages aren't popping up as quick as they were last time. I was struggling to keep up with it all last time. There's nothing particularly wrong with Selly Speeds, it's just they're very temperamental and most garages don't have a clue what they're doing when it comes to repairing them. I mean, I'm not brilliant with them. I know how to adjust the clutch gap, change the fluid and check the solenoids, and that's about as far as I'll go with them. But they're not fun to mess with, and quite a few garages don't even want to touch them. Swirl flaps on a JTDM, there's nothing really for you to check without taking all the engine apart, so I wouldn't worry about that. I don't have a clue what my GTA has fitted to it. All I know is it's got a few intake hose modifications and it's had the repaint done. Other than driving it into the garage and parking it, I haven't really touched it. Lack of time that day to get it because I had other work I needed to finish off. Yeah, rust-free GT is probably quite rare. A lot of reasons the GTs are starting to rust is because of the floor pan and people jacking them up in the wrong places. But I do have my bets on a faulty hydraulic lifter on the GTA. It runs as smooth as anything. There's no engine vibration. There's no fault codes or anything like that. So I do hope it is just a hydraulic lifter that needs changing. But there's enough in it. If I need to buy another engine, I can put another engine in it. It could be a Conrod bearing, but we've got to wait and see. I'd like to say it's coffee, but no, it's Pepsi Max and Captain Morgan's rum. That's the problem with engine noises on audio. Whenever I see anybody send me a video to, can you diagnose this engine noise? No, because it sounds totally different once you record it on a phone. It always sounds a lot worse than it is. That's Daniel Moore. That's sort of why the way I'm going down the restoration route more so than repair at the minute, because in 5 to 10 years' time, there's not going to be a great deal of Alphas and Fiats for people to repair. There's going to be quite a few on the Abarth scene, and that'll be it. Fiat-wise, there's not really much. The 500 is just a generic repairable car which will disappear off the road eventually. Alpha, there's not that many Giuliettas out there. There's not that many Stelvios in the UK. The Giulietta is finishing production this year, so there's not going to be much from Alpha to repair at all. So hopefully I can stick with referring GTVs and GTAs and GTs and stuff like that. That's what I do enjoy doing. I love the new Giulia GTA, but it's yet another pointless car that nobody can afford that comes from Alpha. Probably an absolutely phenomenal car, but most people are not going to be able to buy them. I want a replacement for the Mito, a nice hot hatch to compete with the Corsas and the Golf Rs and stuff like that. That's what I want. Yeah, I bet you struggle with that then, Dan. He's never going to want to do the big heavy jobs. I know I'm not going to want to do it when I'm that age. Yeah, alternators are not fun on V6s. At least you don't have to take the subframe off. You just have to remove all the bolts, and it should give you enough room to get the alternator from out the gap. It's the 1.9 gearbox fitted to the 159, so it's going to be the bearings inside the gearbox which are making you have noise. No, you can't drive without catalytic converters legally, but some people do put straight through pipes in. Breras, I don't. It's awkward, they're still too new. and there's not enough appreciation for them, I think, for them to go up in value. I think that's the problem with a lot of like Alphas and Italian cars, is there's not enough people. If you think of the Ford Escorts, how many people had Ford Escorts back in the day? Hundreds of thousands of them, and they've all got the fondness and the memories of owning them. So when it comes to 20 years later, you've still got hundreds of thousands of people that had one when they were younger who want another one. Whereas with a lot of the smaller, lower number cars, you don't tend to have that following. So I think that's one of the main reasons why Alpha cars of the 90s haven't gone up in value yet, is because there's not enough demand for them. Alpha probably will produce a new 8C if that's the way they're going now with unaffordable cars. Jason Van Overmirren, there is an ECU behind the glove box. A big purple relay is probably that which is causing the problem. 2.5 V6s have probably got more of a chance to go up in value because of the engine sound, really. And they were 156 was the Alpha, which sort of brought Alpha back into the game again. Never swapped an F40 gearbox into a 1.9. But I think you need drive shafts, you need clutch and flywheel, and gearbox mounts and stuff like that. So you do need quite a bit to swap it over. Clumps from stationary is probably a drive shaft or an engine mount. If you look at the lower engine mounts on the bottom of the subframe, the rubber can deteriorate and crack. That will make your engine move, and it'll make your drive shafts rub on things, so that's why you're probably hearing a noise. I'm not a fan of the 2.2 engine in the Brera, so to me, no, you didn't miss a great deal. Yep, the Alpha 156 did bring Alpha back from the brink of closure, I think. That was the first Alpha I owned, was a 2-litre S-Plate, S560 NLX was the first Alpha I owned, a 1999-98 Alpha 156 in the burgundy colour with the sport pack on it. I did enjoy that car. The build quality seemed such a step up from what I was driving previously. What was it for? It was Puntos and Ford Escorts I was driving back then. Business is quite quiet on the repair side of things at the minute. Yes, I would like to have more service working at the minute and repair work, but it's the things at the minute. People aren't using the cars, so they're not breaking. I'm doing quite well with used parts though at the moment. That's getting a little bit busier than it was. Biz 004, is it expensive to buy a 1471 GTA? It did get very expensive to buy them, and then along came this company importing lots of Japanese ones, and that killed the value of them in the UK. You used to not be able to get a decent one for less than 13-14 grand, probably this time last year. And now, I'm not going to tell you what I paid for mine, but I paid a lot less than that. For both my GTAs, I paid a lot less than that, but they are in need of repair work. But I think now you could probably get a reasonable one for about 8 grand. Hello again in Florida. Nero Fuco, yep. Whenever I get another wishbone in to remove on a Giulietta, I will do one. It's just a case of when the work comes in to do it and I haven't done a video on it, then I'll film it again. But a lot of the work I'm getting at the moment, is on the work I've already done, so there's no videos to film. But I'm going to probably be doing a video on a 166 over the next few weeks, but I'll go into more of that when I do the video. Yes, Connor, I sold my 156 GTA to a guy in Ireland, and he told me how much it cost to tax them over there, and yeah, I nearly fell over. Yeah, Alice, that email was picked by all means, and I'll try and get back to you next week. Hi, Dazru in France. Yes, sorry, I only know English and Google Translate those languages, so you'll have to try and understand my Midland accent. But thank you for watching. If we can get to above 60 in the live stream, I'll do the competition questions and see if any of you guys can win a mug and a 2020 alphabet calendar. Yeah, I wish tax was that cheap. There is no issue with brake caliper adapters in the UK. You can do whatever you want as long as your brakes work. Yeah, every day is pretty much the same at the minute. I'm just very glad that I can still work Monday to Friday, go in and do. I'm doing a limited amount of work, but I'm still managing to get some jobs done. If the poor old wife's been stuck at home the last 2 weeks, and she's tidied every room in the house to the tiniest minute. So the house is rather tidy at the moment. I did fit a new poster, or not a new poster, an old poster. Anybody recognise that poster on the back wall? It's an authentic 1980s Police Academy poster. I've had that for years. I do love the. It's one of the things I love is the 80s movie posters like Indiana Jones and Star Wars, where they were all drawn rather than now they're all fiddled with on computers. Yes, I do believe you are not allowed to modify your cars in a few of the European countries in any bit or shape or form, but I do believe you can fit engines and parts from other cars without any issue. So you could do a Lamborghini engine transplant into your 156 and they couldn't do a thing about it. No, I haven't had any. I've driven some of the later Giuliettas. I've driven one of the TCT ones recently. A customer bought one in for a repair job. They're okay. They're old cars, but if you're thinking of a Giulietta or a Stelvio, I'd definitely go for a Stelvio over all that. Never driven a Stelvio yet. No, the Crosswagon was never sold in the UK, but there are a few people that have imported them. I think there's probably about 4 or 5 in the UK. We have a 6? No, I've got 57 now. I've got to put my camera straight as well. It's all. There you go. Yep, spoke way too soon. It's gone down again now. People are dropping out. What's going on? Yeah, I want to get the webcam for the next live feed if I can, so I can spend more time looking at the camera rather at the screen. And there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know why it's told me to hide that message, Caesar. 57, we've gone back up again. We're nearly there. are worse cars than the Nissan Juke, but I have been and sat in a Nissan Juke, and my brother-in-law owns a Nissan Juke, and I'm not a great fan of the Nissan Jukes. They're not. They're horrible. The build quality is awful, and they don't look the best. I love the new Giulia. I love the new Giulia QV. I love the new Giulia TI, but I just think they're too expensive. When I can buy a Giulia TI for about 15 grand, then I may buy one. Are the JTS 2.2s? I absolutely hate them. I think they're absolutely awful engines, and some people love them, but no, I'm sorry, I don't like them at all. I can get by with probably every other Alfa engine apart from the JTS engines in the 159s or Brauers. Yeah, they do. The Dukes are not nice at all. I owned a GTV Cup. It was number 46, if I remember rightly, or number 56. It was one of the magazine cars, press cars. I owned that briefly. It came to me in rather a bad state. I gave it a full respray, titivated it all up and sold it on. I do believe it's still going now. Yeah, the Nissan Juke Nismos are, they're a little bit curious to look at. Preferred turbo repair place, I use Midland Turbos up in Nottingham. Waiting for the question. I missed your other question. It's going a bit fast at the minute. We've dropped down to 50 now, so we're definitely not getting a competition at the moment. People must be a big fan of the Nissan Juke, that's why they're all going away. Brendan Burke, will I be doing any features fixing Alfa Romeo interiors? If I've ever got to do one and it's interesting enough to film, yes, but I'm doing a lot less of the repair videos now, more the interesting content videos. That seems to be getting a lot more views and you guys are enjoying them more. I love the Alfetta GTV from the 80s. That's about as old as I go with Alfas. I do love the old GTs, but I never really get much call to repair them. No, never driven a Lada Riva. Yeah, they're all old Dukes. Oh, we've gone up to 52 again now. They're all coming back. The 2.4 heads, I was always under the belief that you couldn't fit them from what I was told, but I'd never tried it, and then there was a thread on Facebook where somebody managed to do it. So apparently you can fit 156 heads onto the 2.4 159 engine. I would do a salvage Giulia. The only problem is they are mainly aluminium, so if the body damage is too much, I wouldn't be able to do it because I don't have a clue when it comes to repairing damaged aluminium. I would have to pay somebody else to do it. Connor, no, blanking EGR shouldn't cause any issue for the turbo. You would just probably have to get it deleted from the ECU. No. Oh, we keep going up and down. We're not going to get to 60 today. I think the last live feed I did, I got up to, I think, 83. I was quite pleased with that for my first one. 2.4 diesels, get it, I don't have a problem with them. Yes, they have their regular problems, but nothing you can't fix with a swirl flap delete and a regular cam belt on the service. Alfa Romeo injectors, diesel ones, don't really have a problem with them. They're normally fairly straightforward to get out and replace. You do suffer with injector problems on the 2 litre JTS. I think car tax regulations are going to change a lot over the next few years. So I think it doesn't matter what you've got, electric or not, the government are going to want their money, so you will be paying no matter what you own. It's the fuel companies that are going to struggle. You will have electric charging stations at Shell garages rather than fuel pumps eventually. Sun plug replacement. Normally you replace the seal, but a lot of cars I don't even mess with the sun plug because 9 times out of 10 they're already rounded off. So I always suck the oil out. Yes, it's not the best thing to do, but it's the only other option when somebody's rounded the sun plug off and they haven't repaired it yet. The Tonale engines, I have got an idea. You're going to have a 1 litre 3-cylinder and a 1.4 4-cylinder with an automatic gearbox only. If it's going by anything to do with the 500s and the Jeep Renegades, they are not bad cars, but the build quality needs to be improved if it's going to be an Alfa, in the Tonale anyway. I love the style on the Alfetta GTVs as well. They're it always makes me think of James Bond whenever I see one. 1.9 GTs, diesels, cracking cars. I have no issues with them at all. I have no idea about the E10 and E15s. I've not even bothered looking into that yet. I don't see why any car would be struggling with it. It's all designed to be backwards compatible, I would understand. Multi-ECU scan is probably the best low budget software to use. I would recommend buying that above hand scan. Power issues, it could be many issues really, mate. It's something you'd have to look into. It could be vanes on the turbo sticking, it could be swirl flaps, it could be EGR, it could be plenty of different things causing that problem. Favourite car, I can just see that Jason's put that. My favourite car other than Alfa is a Dodge Challenger, and I did a video on it when I went to Florida last year, so flick back and give it a watch because I think it's still got less than 600 views, which I was really disappointed in. Eric, do I like the Lancia Delta? Yes, I like the Lancia Delta, but I've never driven one, never worked on one. Same with the Felna. I've just answered about the 1.9 GT. You've said it twice. The DP, you do tend to suffer with DPF problems more on the 2 litre JTDM. I think that's probably down to the location of it. They've put it up where the turbo is, just below the turbo. And I think they do get a bit hot there rather than being underneath the car when you've got the airflow. Yeah, Alpha Workshop, I've done very well on their tutorials, and I've done loads of video tutorials, but you get like a couple of thousand views on them, so you know, I've not really had the viewing figures to warrant doing many more little workshop tutorials. So we don't really deal with much of the ethanol gas over here, so we haven't had any problems with it. Oh yeah, big 60s Dodge Dart, yeah. I was just saying the new Dodge Dart isn't, I don't think you could fit a V8 in it. Yeah, I could do with a new kitchen as well. But yeah, cars are more important. That's not bad, 600 quid for an M32 gearbox repair. That is pretty good. Oil vacuum pumps, yeah, that's what I use most of the time to get oil out of my cars, and they do a good job. Yep, see you later, Tony. Do you know, the new Dodge Challenger, I do still like that. It's got so much personality, and the styling is absolutely amazing, and that drive really nice as well. Good stuff, yeah. 159 wishbones are probably one of the harder ones to do, just for the fact they're really quite difficult to line up, especially if you've got the lower quality wishbones. Camaros, my friend had one as a hire car when he went to Vegas one year, and he didn't rate the Camaro. I've never driven one. My friend who lives in America has got a previous generation Mustang, and he seems to love that. I'll have to have a look at the new Barracuda. Favourite coffee in the workshop? What do I use? Kirkland Costco coffee is the best one. It's £10 for a big tub like that, and that's what I use, and it's cracking stuff. Oh no. Yeah, the coronavirus thing is getting a bit out of hand at the minute, and if they want to turn anywhere into hospital, they've got my blessing on that. Yeah, 1.5 wish. I think I've done that many of them now. The only problem I sometimes get is getting the back bolt in, or once you've got the back two bolts in, it's lining up the front two, because sometimes the bush doesn't sit in the right place where it should, and you can't get the bolts in straight. But I've got a few pry tools and prying positions which enables me to move them round to get the bolt in. GT diesel cam belts are one of the easiest ones to look out for. Just make sure you do everything undone. You do everything up to the right torques. I love my Sealy cordless ratchet, but they only last about 6 months, and then I wear them out. But that's through the amount of use they get. So I'd probably buy 2 every 6 months. It's keeping cars on the road is purely up to yourself. If you want to spend money on repairing it and doing the bodywork up, it's purely your choice. You're never going to be in a car and win on it, profit wise, especially if you're keeping the car long term. So if you want to spend money on getting the bodywork done, get it done, Liam. Gingerbread Martian, I would say don't get a 2.2 JTS, get a 1.9 diesel or a 2.4 diesel, because they're a lot easier to maintain. If you're going to get a Pickett 444, if you're going to get you want a Buzzo, either get a 2.5 V6, but the best buys at the moment are the GTV 3 litres. They're about to start to go up in value by quite a bit, I would say, over the next few years. So get one of those. Yes, the GTA or the 3.2 is a lot more to maintain. It does tend to have a lot more demand. I've never tried the Kirkland brand vodka, but I wouldn't say no to it, because all the Kirkland stuff I have from Costco is really good. My favourite biscuits are chocolate hobnobs. They are the best biscuits in the world. The oldest tool, all my tools are not very old, because 2 years ago I was broken into and I literally had everything stolen. So most of my stuff, apart from a couple of leftover spanners and screwdrivers, are all sort of 2 years old. Does this mean I'm going to get packets of hobnob biscuits through the post now, does it? Hello, it's me. No, we won't show your message on here, thank you. We don't do swearing. The dog's going mental at the front door for some reason. Yeah, car price, Sergio Michaud. Car prices are very funny things at the minute. At the minute, they're crashing on their arse because nobody can go out and buy them. So, do not attempt to sell a car and all this until all this is over. That's one of the reasons why I think I had a good buy with the GTA, was because of the climate and people needed to get rid. So they will beat crap at the moment until all that is over and done with. We've still not got above 60, have we? I do like the 2.5 12 valve engine sound. It is great. My only issue is it's not that much more powerful than the 2 litre twin spark. Yes, it's an Alpha GT car seat, red leather, from a 3.2 V6 I bought and broke many years ago. If any of you guys actually have in the UK red leather GT rear seats, I want them because I want to make a 2-seater sofa to go behind me. So I want to put a telly on the wall there and put my Xbox on it, so I can have a little car seat to play Xbox on. No, Brendan, unfortunately I was moving units and I was in between insurance on that unit because I was moving, and I had to fund the repurchase of all my tools. If it wasn't for a very kind relative, I would have shut up shop and not gone into it, because it cost that much money to purchase them all again. It was a shit time, but I've moved on from that now. Yes, buy any GTV 3 litre and put as much money into it as you want, because they will be worth some money in 10 years' time. Jethro, I tend to work on sort of 94 to 2010. That seems to be the main area I work on with Alphas. I have speaking to a customer today, and I'm probably getting a Stelvio in next week to have a look at a full code. So that'll be nice. Do you know what? The Fiestas are a good budget car, especially in titanium or ST Line X spec. They're not bad cars and they are cheap. Yes, they depreciate to nothing, but they're good cheap cars if you want to buy one new. The 145 diesel engine was never in the UK, so I have no idea whether you can swap the gearboxes. I think it's an early V6, an early diesel engine in those, so I don't know whether you can. Just see if the first thing to do is see if the bolt holes line up on the gearbox. That's your first step, and then if they fit, then you might be able to. You might find that on the 145 you'd have to change the clutch and flywheel as well, so make sure whether they're compatible. You know what, Mitos aren't bad cars. They're cheap, good, reliable runarounds. So the only major issue you get with them is the power steering misbehaving. That seems to be a common one for me to repair at the moment, and I haven't done a video on it yet. If that guy who was previously gets the car in for me to do the power steering motor, I will do a video on it. Um, 166s, they're okay, they're a nice drive, but any big car from the 90s, whether it be BMW or Audi, were never any good. So they're not the best, but they are unbelievably cheap at the moment, especially some of the 3.2s. If you can pick up a 3.2 facelift, then that'll be a good buy, because there aren't many of those around. Yes, I've still got the airbag fitted into my seat. It's also a heated seat, so if I ever wanted to plug it into a 12-volt battery underneath the seat, I could keep my bum warm. I've never done that. If I was buying a new car, I would have an automatic over a manual if I had the choice, yes. because automatic gearboxes in modern cars are so much faster than manual. They're also very reliable as well. No, I need the. It's got to be a GT to match the seat I'm sitting on. I did have one. I had it in my old unit. Lovely 3.2 red leather GT double rear seat, made into an office sort of seat, and I sold it because I was never using it, and I wish I'd kept it now. It's probably either going to be later this year or next year. It's early days of me even looking into getting one now, but now I've picked up the GTA, it's probably delayed getting a Fiat Barchetta even more. But if one falls on my lap stupidly cheap, let me know. So if you ever see one for sale, give the customer my number, and if you want to sell it cheap, I'll gladly buy it and get round to it eventually. Yeah, there were limited 75s for sale in the USA. I think they pulled out. Was it 1990 when Alfa pulled out? No, it wasn't. Ignore me. 94. So you got a few. You barely got any of the GTVs. Canada got GTVs up to 96, but America didn't get many of the 90s Alfas. No, I don't see boxes anymore. I get requests for parts, but I've never broken one on the 145 boxes anyway. Your back wipe is because your wiring loom in the tailgate is, that's why that's randomly turning on. To be honest, the new automatic car I would buy would be, believe it or not, a BMW 3 Series, because they are phenomenal. As much as I love Alfa, I just couldn't buy a brand new Giulia and face like £15,000 worth of depreciation as soon as I drove off the forecourt. But actually, I did look at the prices of used BMW 330i's. They were like 40 grand brand new, and you can buy one for less than 25 grand now. So people talking about depreciation on Alfas, well, that BMW's lost 15 grand in less than 12 months. So yeah, it's scary at the minute on what you can buy new and keep your money. What's the TCT box like? They are okay. It's just a new version of a Cellispeed box, basically. It's a manual box with an actuator on top of it. I wish, well, I have actually in the Giulietta. They've finally gone for a proper automatic box. Yeah, in UK you can get an automatic or a manual license, but in the UK most people go for manual because they're the most cars. Power washer. I have the normal brand. What do you call it? The big one in the UK. I only spent 60 quid on it for a power washer. Stelvio taxi, lovely. Yeah, it's the same with any BMW and Audi. They are replacing the Mondeo now. I think Ford are going to be stopping making the Mondeo because nobody's buying them anymore. But the new 3 Series is a very nice car. We drove, when we were looking at getting a Tesla, we drove the Mercedes, we drove the Giulia, we drove the new Audi A4, and we drove the BMW 3 Series. And yes, the Tesla won out of all of those because the running costs were so much lower, but the second to that was the new BMW 3 Series. Believe it or not, a big Alfa fan does appreciate other cars as well. Karcher, that's it, couldn't remember it. The only thing Alfa can do about their unreliable reputation is give long warranties like Kia do. And that's what they did try and do. Was it 3 years servicing, 3 years AA, and 5-year warranty? I don't think they can do any more than that. I would do that as standard throughout the Alfa range. But I think that it's not so much to do with the reputation, it's the price of them, I think, at the moment. Alfa need to be aiming just above Ford and Vauxhall, not for just below Mercedes, BMW and Audi. Because I don't think you're ever going to swap a BMW driver into an Alfa. Or very difficult. Have you ever gone from, any of you guys ever gone from a BMW to an Alfa? Or an Audi to an Alfa? I have, but I'll drive anything. I do wish the Giulia sold better, I really do, because they are really good cars. But as again with Alfa, the interior came out 5 years later than everybody else. So if in the new one they can update the infotainment system and the technology in it, then they would sell very well. Is my dog at the door, is it? She even. It's probably toilet time. She's had a walk already today. A 1 hour walk. All this, the stigma from Alfa being the most unreliable, I don't think it's really warranted nowadays. They're not any worse than another manufacturer. They're not any worse for rusting. They're not any worse for engine problems. Most of the engines are in other cars anyway. And the electrical problems are just the same as any other manufacturer out there. I think a lot of it just sticks from the 70s from the Alfa Sud, and Alfa just can't seem to shake that off. You ask anybody, when I used to work for the RAC, I used to say I was a fan of Alfas, and say, oh, you don't want to buy one of them because the rust, or my great uncle Alfred, best friend, had one in the 70s. And I'm like, yeah, we're talking that's 50 years ago now. Cars have come on a long way since that. So anybody who says Alfas are unreliable, I normally say, well, have you owned one? And 9 times out of 10, they haven't. Really had a drink. Toyotas, I'm not a huge fan. I don't think the build quality is quite right for them. I think they're a little bit lower build quality than they should be. For the interior plastics I'm talking about, not about the way they drive or anything like that. They are quite nice. Have a look at the Toyota. Toyota Auris. There's millions of those in my street. I think there's about 5 of them in our street. So they must be popular or cheap to insure anyway. Right, let's have the giveaway then. So I need to think. And I've just filled my mug, so I've got to be careful not to spill it. This question is for a mug. Now, if you win, you will need to email me your address so I can post it out to you. So I'm not answering any more questions at the minute. I'll try and come back to it. So the question is, and anybody who knows me personally can't answer this question, but what is my private registration on the Jeep? You should be able to get that from a video. So if someone can answer that question, then they will win a mug. So have a look at some of my previous videos, and you should be able to see the registration. I think you can anyway. I just think you can. If you can't, I'll have to ask another question. All cars tend to rust in all countries if they put salt on the roads. It doesn't matter what car you've got. They're all made of the same metal from China, so they will all rust. Same with rubber components. They are the same, made of the same rubber on loads of other cars, so they all suffer from it. Every taxi I've ever been on has always got a knackered wishbone in it. And they're normally Toyotas or Vauxhalls. Chris Fix's channel, I've never watched it. I watch a lot of car repair shows on YouTube, most of them are the American ones, and I've even stopped watching a lot of those at the minute. I do like watching Rich Rebuilds because that's interesting, different content. He's always working on Teslas or making electric vehicles, so I do enjoy watching Rich Rebuilds. Alistair, you're close, but you're still wrong. You've all gone quiet now because you're all looking for the registration, aren't you, to win a mug? There you go, Callum McFarlane, you have won a mug. So if you message me your address, either message me via Facebook or send me an email and I will get a mug in the post to you. I'm surprised that because of all the snow in Norway, I would have thought they would have stopped using salt years ago. But yeah, the UK is cheap, so we put cheap and nasty sand and salt on our roads, which makes our cars rust even more. I've always said when I used to work for the RAC, I never really went out to many Alphas that had broken down. I don't know whether that was because of the amount on the roads or they just didn't break down. Stan, a lot of cars look the same nowadays, and that's a lot of the reason is because the EU regulations for pedestrian safety, bumpers and light heights have got to be all impact friendly for pedestrians, so they've all got to be certain heights, so that's why they're all starting to look the same. A lot of visual differences in cars is pretty much the grille and the badge. That's about it now from a front profile, anyway. Do diesels? They do rely on the glow plugs a little bit in normal. We're talking above 15 degrees. They probably don't use them, but they're always turned on every start, every cycle. It doesn't matter what the temperature is. The weakest links. Are you referring to suspension, or are you referring to the most common faults, Gromo? No, you don't tend to put anything on the roads in Florida apart from dead animals. That's the most things you see on the roads in Florida, and really terrible drivers as well. Floridians can't drive for toffee. Yeah, plenty of armadillos dead on the side of the road, yeah. And a few dead crocs. I do hope to be going back to Florida next year, actually. If I can manage to save enough money and this coronavirus doesn't kill us all. Next competition item then is a unused Alphabook 2020 calendar, and the question for this one, what was the very first car I featured on my channel, as in main car, not part from a car, and if you can answer that question you can win this calendar. I'll get that in the post to you next week. So what was the very first car featured on my channel? No, wasn't the GTV. No, wasn't the 145 either. No, wasn't the 147. You're just going to go through them all now, aren't you? You're just going to, one of you is going to be right. Nope. No, right. Wasn't the 75. No, Warren. Wasn't the 159. No, it's a TCT box in the Giulietta. It's the Giulia that has the proper auto box. LP Mick Cosmos, you have won the calendar. It was a white Mito 155 that I featured on my channel first. A front end accident repair where I was really nervous and uncomfortable in front of the camera. So yeah, if you message me your address via Facebook or via email, I shall get that in the post to you Monday or Tuesday. You missed out by that one, Jimmy, by a couple of seconds. Right, we'll have another 5 minutes and then we'll call it the day then. I want to go and play on some COD on the Xbox. Sammy, the £100 GTV is getting broken. Yes, it is. I haven't done another video on it because it's getting broken. The engine's coming out of it tomorrow, actually, Monday. The reason I didn't repair it was just because there's no money in it. Yes, I would have loved to have repaired it for the channel. If I was going to get 100,000 views, 100,000 views per video, I would have gladly repaired it because I would have made my money on revenue. but that's not going to happen. So it was going to get broken, unfortunately. But I am repairing the Green GT V6, so some of the parts from that will go on to save it. No, it's a 155. If you're looking in the corner of my garage, that's the 155 wide body. That will eventually get around to repairing. But that 155 in the corner of my unit, I've had that about 4 years now. It doesn't need a little bit of any bit of work doing to it. I tell a lie, it needs a wiper motor fitting to it because they're very intermittent, and it just needs a respray now, and I will get round to it eventually. That one's not going to get sold because I get bored of it. I will actually finish that one and keep that one myself. I will also want an airbag for it as well because somebody's put an aftermarket Halford Special steering wheel on it, and it's not very nice, and there's no airbag on it now. So in order for me to MOT it, I would need to put an airbag on now. Antonio never dabbled in meth injection, but when it comes to swirl flaps, just take them out. They are just destined to come off and go through your engine. Hand cleaner is Swarthega. That isn't dirt, that's where I crushed my finger, and it's finally working its way through. But yeah, my hands are actually quite clean for a change. That's about the cleanest they've been, unless I go away on holiday for 2 weeks. Doing my job, you don't have clean hands very often. But water meth injection was mainly for petrol cars anyway. I may be wrong because I don't know a thing about it, but I would have thought that was mainly for to keep the turbos clean and stuff on petrol cars. But I could be wrong. The dog always wants in. She can go in once, because she can come out once I've finished. The only four-wheel drive Alfa we have in the UK is the Stelvio. We never had the 155 Q4. We never had the Crosswagon. Am I missing something else? Nope. Best engine in a Mito? Oh yeah, it's the 155 turbo is very good and reliable, but I am hearing a few reports of the engines giving up. Next to that, I would probably say is the multi-air. As long as you get a sort of a 12 plate onwards, where you have the slightly updated multi-air unit, get a multi-air. Even the earlier ones are fine. You just need to make sure you clean the filter out every 12 months with the service. (159Q4), yes, you are right. I forgot about that one. But they're that rare in the UK. That's understandable. I forgot about those. Hydrogen cleaning, I've never had it done. It's taken off big time, but I can't see it doing a massive amount of difference on engines. Some of the engines I've taken apart and the carbon build-up, there's nothing getting that off apart from tons of high pressure water. No, nobody ever seems to talk about the 33. I've never worked on one. I've seen a few in the flesh at car shows, but the 33 wasn't a massive car in the UK. 120 T-Jet's a pretty good engine as well. That's sort of the second most popular engine in the Mito over here. Right, get your last questions in then, because I'm going to be shooting off in a minute. A 159. In fact, I would love if somebody would do a 156 GTA, get the engine turned round so we can run it on the rear wheels instead of front wheels. That would be a lovely one. My next live stream, I'm probably going to leave it now till next month. I'll probably do one at the beginning of next month. If this one had been a bit busier, then I would have probably done one every week if people are a bit bored and they want some entertainment. If there's enough demand for it, I'll gladly do one every Saturday afternoon if it's on lockdown. It entertains me for an hour and a half anyway. Cheap daily at the minute, get your hands on either a really old 147 or a Mito. Mito is becoming quite cheap now, and they're fairly reliable. A 159 GTA concept. Let's have a Google of that one. There's some very, very, very bad Photoshop 159 GTAs. 159 GTA 2018 in Car Magazine. What had it got? I think the 159 GTA turned into the TI by the look of it, because there's no visual differences between the two. Yeah, cheers Chris. Cheers Alistair. If not mechanics, I don't have a clue. I've always liked tinkering with cars and never really actually started tinkering with cars until about 15 years ago. So it's relatively new to me. I always worked office jobs and stuff like that before. Yeah, it's just the footrest just pulls out, I think. You're better off just taking it out and leaving it out of Julieta, because it means you've got somewhere to rest your foot then. You've either got parking sensors in the GT, you've either got to take the rear bumper off and check the wiring for continuity, or you've got a full T parking sensor. Just listen for how many beeps when you put the car in reverse. You get 1 to 4 beeps, and that tells you which parking sensor is faulty. I don't wear any overalls in the workshop. I go to Sports Direct and buy their jumpers and their jogging bottoms because I get through them that often. No, I've not seen that on Car Hub yet. Cheers, Warren. There we go. We shall call this stream done then. Thank you everybody for joining me. And those 2 people that have won the competition items, if you just send me your details and I'll get them into your post next week. So thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next stream or the next video. The next video will be Tuesday, by the way, and I will do that Tuesday evening. So speak to you all soon. Thanks for watching.